but he was forever grateful and forever joyful. One day, when he was out hoeing his field, and the sun came high in the sky, and he needed to rest, he sat down under a tree. And as he was basking in the coolness of the shade it provided, he looked up, and there was the most magnificent apple he had ever seen. It was large and red and shiny. He raised his arm, and just at a very touch, the apple fell into his hand. He looked at its perfection. He couldn't wait to return to his wife and daughter to show her this amazing evidence of the wonders of life. When he returned to his house, he put it in the middle of the table. When his wife and daughter came in, he proudly showed them this beautiful fruit. The wife was very impressed and said yes, she'd never seen an apple so large and so beautiful. The daughter said, "Oh, this is a very great blessing from God." So the old farmer said, "Here, my daughter, you take the apple." She said, "Oh, no, I cannot. This apple is fit for a king." And the old farmer had a thought. Yes, it is. I'm going to give it to the king. And taking a little flask of water and a few crusts of bread, he wrapped the apple carefully in a soft, clean cloth and went his way to the palace of the king. The journey was long and he was sweating. The flies buzzed around his head, but he noticed none of these. He was filled with the joy of being able to give a gift to the king. When he got to the palace gates, the guard stopped him and said, "You can't enter here." But he said, I have a gift for the king." But of course the guards, seeing his simple farmhand clothing, were reluctant to admit him. He told his story that he had this wonderful gift, even opened and showed it to them. But finally they called their commander, and when he heard the story from the farmer, he was touched by his sincerity, and so he personally escorted the farmer into the presence of the king. But before they got there, walking down the long passageway, the farmer was so overwhelmed with the thought of giving this wonderful, wonderful piece of fruit to the monarch, that when he stood in front of the king, he babbled out without even thinking, I just wanted to give this to you because you've been such a good king, and it's the most beautiful apple that I've ever seen." Now this was not the protocol that was usually followed in front of the king, but the demeanor of the farmer and his sincerity made the king look, take notice. And when he was handed the apple, he admired it, called his queen, and they both acknowledged that this was the finest apple that they had ever seen. Now the king said to the farmer, "Such a wonderful gift deserves a gift in return." No, said the farmer. I have no expectation of anything in return. The king said, "Oh no, such a gift requires a response. Did you walk here to my palace?" "Yes," said the farmer. And immediately the king called a courtier to him, whispered in his ear, and the very finest stallion in the king's stables was bought for the farmer to ride her. Of course, as soon as he departed, word spread like wildfire through the village that the king had given the farmer a magnificent stallion in exchange for an apple. So a very greedy merchant who heard this story said, "Well, if he can give an apple to the king and get a stallion, then if I take him a gift, he will surely give me gold and jewels." So the merchant chose the finest horse in his own stables and made his way to the palace. When he arrived there and said to the guards, "I have a gift for the king," of course, seeing him in his finery, they immediately let him enter. He was taken into the presence of the king. And the merchant said, "Oh, I know that you were given a gift of an apple, and so I was inspired to bring a gift for myself. I bought you my finest horse." "Thank you," said the king, not taking any notice, going back over what it was that he was doing when the merchant entered. "Thank you," said the king. But the merchant stood there. "What is it you're wanting?" said the king. "Is it perhaps that you think that you deserve a gift in return?" Well, yes," said the merchant. And the king said, "I have just the perfect gift for you." And he whispered in a courtier's ear, and he went off and bought a silver tray with a cloth over it. And when the cloth was taken away, there sat the apple in all its perfection. "An apple! An apple! You're giving me an apple in place for my wonderful gift of my best horse?" The king said, "This is the most precious of gifts, because..." How would you end this story? What are the words that you would say that came out of the king's mouth? "This is the most perfect and best of gifts, because..." And how does this story relate to the wandering dervish and the Sufi master? How do we put these three together to have the possibility to answer all three of these questions? What is the relationship between movement, life, and stillness, selflessness? What is it that makes us get up in the morning?